Hey, I'm in the walking onion patch, which you can see right behind me here, and I am processing walking onion bulbs, bulbules, and getting them ready for replanting. So you can see here I got a big mess, and this is the bulbules that came off of the walking onions. And you can see I got the stalks right here. I'll show you the process here in just a minute. And here are the below ground bulbs or onions themselves. And I'm cutting them off, similar to what you would do with some types of garlic. I'm gonna let these dry for about a week so that way I can peel off the little clove. You can't tell, it's not super obvious, but right inside there's like a little clove, and this part will snap off, and I'm gonna plant those when I plant garlic. See, I got quite a few here. So you can see, big long stem, and you've got the bulbules here that grow on the top. So every one of these you see right here had a big old head of bulbules like this. So, for example, this big head of bulbs came off of this stalk. It might be this stalk, okay? And I'm following this down to the ground. And if I pull this out, it's only one. It produced only one. One onion below ground. However, this one here, for example, if you look, I pull this one up, this one produced 3 or 4. Look at that. They're really pretty, actually. Now, these are not huge because these were allowed to make the head of bulbs, okay, the bulbules. And so this energy that made all of these individual little kernels, individual little bulbs, would have otherwise gone into one of these roots, and it would have been much, much bigger. Probably up to the size of a small to medium red onion, like a red baron, so to speak. So what we have here is we have a plant. Here's some bulbules I missed. So every individual kernel, so this little kernel right here, when planted anytime, August, September, October, November, this little bulb when planted anytime will turn into, one large bulb that you can harvest as a large onion, a green onion, a spring onion, or you can let it make this huge stalk all the way up there, a couple feet high, 3 feet high sometimes, and it will make a head that you can then divide. Or it can make several heads that you can divide and then also divide underground like this. Okay? And so now I'm going to cut these short and I'm going to put them in for storage. What some people do, you see how this is kinked like this? You see how this kinked down? This is what they call walking. So if this head right here touches the ground, just like that, some of these bulbs are going to touch the ground, they're going to root. Okay? So you can let that happen, but I feel like it's an inefficient way to get the most onions the fastest. I sell these, and so I want the most material I can get. I want the most bulbs, I want the most bulbules, and I get to have as many onions as I want in the meantime. So what I do is I actually dig these up. You can see right here. I'm going to pull this one out. And this one made 2, this one made 1, but this one made 3, okay? I'm going to divide these and also replant these so I can get another, a whole other round. So one little bulb becomes 3 of these while also producing 3 heads of bulbs. So I would say that, conservatively speaking, I would say that walking onions can give you a 20 to 50x multiplier in material. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, turning one little bulb like this into 50 plants next year, even if you eat some It's incredible. And so the power in this one little kernel is just kind of mind-blowing to me. If you look right here, this one's actually already beginning to regrow because some of these I pulled the heads off of earlier, about 3 weeks ago or so. And so these are already beginning to regrow. I'm going to pick this up because I want to move it. But there it is. It's a little one that's already starting to regrow as a new green onion. I'm in a different patch now, but now look. You can see I harvested the bulbs off of these a few weeks ago, and they're already beginning to regrow. And there's going to be 3, 4, 5, I'm sorry, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 new baby onions growing out of this one little spot. That is too tight. I would much prefer them to be spread out. You can see here, I had an onion right here. I already harvested it because I want only one onion to grow here next year, and it appears to be only one onion growing here, so that's okay, but this one's all bunched up. So I actually want to pull this and separate those because I would like to have, I would like the onions to each have about 6 inches of spacing so I can get the most onions the fastest. I'm going to pull this one up right here too. Look at this. Oh, it's crazy. This all came from just a couple little bulbs planted. And these aren't even that small. I'm really dorking out on the walking onions here, I know. But what am I supposed to do? Like, it's a crop that can give you almost permanent onions for 10 months, 9 months out of the year in zone 5 where I live. And you can harvest them at almost any time and eat them at almost any time. The way I do this, letting them make a small little ball because I want the head on top, what I'm doing is the least productive way of getting lots of onions because I'm incentivizing multiplication and I'm not incentivizing large bulbs. So, or, large onions underground. So I don't know what else to say. They're just really awesome. And in the springtime, when most people are planting little slips, little 3-inch, little tiny, little spindly onions that you get 100 wrapped in a rubber band and half of them are dead. When people are just planting those, I've got 2 feet high, inch diameter green onions already ready to be harvested in the springtime, very early spring. It comes up before asparagus comes up. And you can harvest the crap out of them then, and you can, once they start to go to seed to make the head, you can just clip that off, similar to you trying to stop garlics from making scapes. It'll make a bigger head in the ground, and just let some of them go to give you the bulbules, and then dig them up also and split them and get multiple times more onions next year. And within a couple years, you'll have a perfect system for managing the exact amount that you want. And it's kind of dynamic. You can actually know what you're going to need, for next year, and you can just let a few more of these go to seed and make these heads, and have another 200 plants. Or you can harvest, or you're getting a patch is getting too big. You can harvest almost all of them and only leave a few of these and restart. It's amazing. And unlike garlic, I don't seem to notice much difference between planting these larger bulbs versus really, really small ones. Okay. I'm sure there's a difference, but they all seem to make the same plant the following season, in my experience. And even if there was a benefit to kind of only planting the bigger ones and discarding the small ones, I still want as many as I can get, so I'm planting all of them anyway. And maybe as time goes on, I can get into a little bit more of kind of selection. But right now, I'm just super stoked to have a lot of onions all the time.